Hello, guys. It's been a while since I dropped an episode of Product Thinking with you, but I'm glad I'm back. I've been very, very busy lately. I've had a lot to do with work and, writing a couple of theses for educational purposes. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. Welcome to episode 5 of Product Thinking with Sean. In today's episode, I'll be talking about mastering the product management role. It's going to be a very exciting topic, so I would say get your chair, grab a cup of coffee, and let's do this. Product management role is a very, very unique role. Your day to day might change a lot, and the kind of activities you have to perform every day might depend on where you are on the product life cycle. It could depend on the kind of organization you're working with. It could depend on the kind of team you're working with. There are just a whole lot of moving pieces, and as a product manager, you should be able to capture all these moving pieces and work fluidly. You will discover that as a product manager, you could succeed with a particular team and struggle with a particular team. You could succeed on a particular project and really struggle or fail at another project. So your role is quite unique, interesting, and challenging at the same time. As a product manager, finding that safe haven or that safe space to operate from could really prove difficult. And this is why you see a lot of product manager battle imposter syndrome while working at their role. I strongly believe that there are certain skill sets that you can master that will make you a champion at your role, in the sense that you will be confident to work with any team and you'll be confident to work on any project. And that's what I'll be talking about in today's episode, right? I'll be talking about the skill set or the things you really need to master in order to be able to succeed at any role, succeed at any project, or succeed at any company. So let's get right into it. For you to understand how to master the PM role, I think one of the first things we need to talk about is to talk about the different PM level that exists, right? You are going to find something different from what I'm about to tell you online. Um, they are not necessarily wrong, and I'm not necessarily wrong. If you compare what I'm about to tell you with what you find online, it's going to be pretty similar. So I'm just going to talk about 4 PM levels, and I strongly believe that the different PM levels can fit in perfectly into the different categories I'll be sharing with you. So the first level of PMs that exist will be associate PMs. Then we have the normal PMs. Then we have the lead PMs, and then we have the executive PMs. So just to give you context, roles like PM interns can actually fall under associate PMs. Junior PMs can actually fall under associate PMs, and senior PMs can fall under the normal PMs or fall under PM leads. Roles like head of product will definitely fall under PM leads. Then we could have things like CPO at that executive PM role, right? And I'm going to try to talk about mastering the product management role based on these different levels of PM roles that exist today. So if you're an intern, a junior PM, a product manager, or even a senior PM, I strongly believe that there are about 3 skill sets you need to master that will make you successful at your role. And these skill sets are your product knowledge, your people skills, and your process skills. Now I'm going to take my time to define what these 3 skill sets are. I believe if you master these 3 skill sets, you could be successful at almost any kind of project or any kind of team. So first off, your product knowledge. You want to make sure that you understand your product in detail. You want to make sure that you understand your customers. You want to make sure that you understand your users. You want to make sure that you understand the competition that exists in the market. And this is going to really, really help you to be successful at your role. So let's say I'm a PM and I work within the automobile industry and I'm switching roles to work within the fintech space. It's important that I take out my time to understand the fintech space, understand how it works, understand the backend mechanisms of the fintech PM space, understand the backend mechanisms of the fintech technology space, understand the competition, understand the challenges, understand the future for that particular industry, and also understand the challenges that particular industry might be facing. It's important for you to have that domain knowledge because it's really going to help you. As a PM, you could find yourself bouncing on projects that would involve different industries. And if you want to be a success at your role, you want to make sure that you take out time to actually understand the industry that you're working on. Secondly, you want to build your people skills. As a PM, you're going to be at the center of a lot of conversations. You're going to have to interact with engineers. You're going to have to interact with business stakeholders. You're going to have to interact with users and customers. You're going to have to interact with designers. So your people skills has to be really great. You must be able to empathize with people. You must be able to understand people. You must be able to listen skillfully to understand the pain points of people, and you must be able to communicate what you're trying to pass across people really clearly, right? It's going to help you be a success at your role. So as a PM, you want to build your people skills if you really want to be successful at your role. So the third skill set I think will be very important if your PM level falls within the category I just mentioned is you want to make sure that you are building your process skills, right? What process do you have in place in terms of trying to gather user feedback, customer feedback? You need to review the kind of processes you have in place in terms of documenting what is happening within your team. You need to have a process for managing your engineering team, and this is where agile actually plays a very big role, right? You need to adopt an agile methodology in terms of managing your team. And it's also important that you are iterating and taking retrospective as you move along the way so that you can adjust your processes and try to see what works best for your team and what works best for your product. Speaking from experience, I will tell you that what would work for a process that work for team A might not be the process that work for team B, and it might not be the process that will work for team C. So you have to be skillful at knowing how to switch up your process, and you have to be skillful enough to be able to take feedback from your team and adapt as you work on your product. So if you are a senior PM, a PM lead, maybe the head of product or the chief product officer, or if you are a product executive, the skill set that you need will include the skill sets I've just mentioned, and you also need some extra skill sets, right? So part of the skill set that you might be needing at this level will be leadership and leading initiatives. Because your organization is going to be looking to you for direction, you have to be able to inspire leadership amongst your I don't want to use the word subordinate. You should be able to inspire leadership across boards, especially to people that will be reporting to you and to various members of your organization. And you should be able to lead initiatives. At this point, what you do is going to be very critical to the growth of your product and to the growth of your organization, right? So you want to really lead a lot of the conversation and the direction that your organization will be taking. At this point, you might be the one who might be defining the culture for the organization and defining the workflow that the entire organization or the product team will be adopting. You would also need to clearly communicate your vision, right? You want to communicate the vision of the product to the product team, to the engineering team, and to the entire organization. At this level, even if your product vision is not entirely accurate on the long term, it's important that you are communicating the long-term vision to the entire team. So The 3-year long-term plan should be clear. The 5-year long-term plan should be clear. What the organization will be doing and the steps the organization will be taking, right, really falls on your desk. So communicating clearly the vision of the product and the vision of the organization is going to really be within the confines of your jurisdiction. At this point, I need to mention that this I feel the skill set that you need to master if you want to be successful at your product management role, or if you need to master the product management role. There are a couple of things to look out for that will really help you to be a success at your role. I could drop links to some helpful articles in the description below, so do well to check this out. Right, thanks for tuning in today's show. Feel free to like, comment and share to folks within your network, and see you on episode 6 of Product Thinking with Sean. Thanks and bye.